Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we are doing this look here, and this is actually an updated everyday makeup routine. So since my last video, which was actually my first video, which is almost a year ago, I can't believe I've been doing this for almost a year. That's crazy to me. I know I did take a bit of a break, but still it's been almost a year that I decided to start a YouTube channel, so that's pretty cool. But I have changed up my routine quite a bit since my first video. Lots of the products have changed, some have not, some have been loyal and stay good to me. So if you'd like to see my updated makeup routine, then please keep watching. So since my first video, I've really changed up my everyday routine. So I thought I would, do another video to show you guys what I've changed, because it's actually quite a lot that now that I look at everything. So the first thing we're gonna do is start off with our moisturizer. So I use I'm pretty sure it's called Lash Water Bank Moisture Cream, and this is the intensive cream for dry skin. So I find this really helps keep my skin hydrated throughout the day and gives me like that dewy finish that I like and not flaky. And I really like to concentrate this and like really press it in and rub it into the spots that I find get really dry, which is my cheeks right here and in my forehead. All right, so then the next step I go in and do is my eyelashes. So as usual, I always curl my eyelashes first, and then I am going in, with the CoverGirl Supersizer Big Curl Mascara. So look, and I really like this one because it really does hold the curl for me in my lashes, and I don't find by the end of the day that my lashes are kind of flat. They stay really nice and curled. So we're gonna go in and use that. Curl my lashes. And usually I probably do about minimum two, usually 2 to 3 coats of this mascara. So I won't go in with the second coat right away. I'll let it kind of dry a little bit while I go in and do the other eye. For me personally, I do actually like using waterproof mascara better than regular. I find it just like has better staying and holding power over the regular mascara. Right, so now that we have that one nice and coated, I'll go in and do the first eye again with another coat. And if you can see with this wand, it's actually like really curved. So it really helps get that curl, which is really nice. So you don't have to like really work too hard for it. Kind of just helps give it that lift. All right, so now that we are done with that step, I will move on to the face. So now I know in my first video, I did concealer under my eyes, but like in the morning, I don't always have time to do that. So what I actually do go in with is a brush like this and the powder that I actually put all over my face and kind of just lightly dust it underneath my eyes and kind of just cover up where the darkness is. I don't really like go in hard with it because it can get a little bit like cakey under there, and that's not what we want, especially if you have cream. It can kind of just like hold on to those little lines and everything. So you want to just kind of lightly press it in under the eye. So the powder that I'm using, I think before, it's still the same product, only it's a darker shade. I'm using the Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Medium. So it's just like a little bit darker than the light. Not by much, but it just gives your face a nice tone, if you will. So I go in and I kind of just like look down and just like press it in here. Where I really like to concentrate the powder, because my cheeks get really red here. So I really like to just press the powder into like the really red spots, like right here. and really just pack that on to just kind of even it out a bit more. And then of course I put quite a bit around my nose because for women that tends to be a spot that's quite red. It's just hormonal for women. And then I also put a little bit on my nose with this brush because I don't want to go in with my powder brush quite yet. And I'll just put this all over my nose and then on my chin as well with this brush. All right, so now that we're done with our little brush for now, I go in with my big powder brush and then I put that powder all over the rest of my face. And because this powder is a little bit lighter, or sorry, darker than my actual skin tone, I do really bring it down the neck and make sure everything is all nice and blended so I can pretend like I have a tan. So now that my face is a lot more even, we're done with that for now. I kind of go back in a little bit in my forehead after I do my brows and bronzer. So in my original video, I was using the brow definer from Anastasia, and now I've gone back in with the Brow Wiz. So that's the little tiny pencil rather than the bigger one. And I am, whoa. I'm using the shade Medium Brown. So this one has just that very fine, tiny, tiny little tip on it. Now once I have that done, then I kind of just fill in. I've actually changed this piece. So with the very tip of this, I actually fill in a little bit right here and do just like little strokes like hair. That, and then I do my top line. Okay, and then once you have your brow all done, then I just go over it and kind of soften everything out and just brush it through. Okay, so that's one brow done. And if I find that brushing through I kind of lost some color out here, I'll kind of just go in with like a few little strokes and kind of darken that up again to even out with the front where the front of my brow where there actually is hair. So what I notice with this brow here is I tend to make the front of this brow a little bit more blocky and square. So when I do that, I kind of just take my spoolie end of this and kind of just soften it by rounding it out a little bit. So with that all done, we are done with brows. So then what I'll do is go in with my clear brow gel. So that step has not changed. I still swear by this stuff because once you put it in, your brows literally don't move. So what I do is all the hairs in the front, I actually brush them straight up and then kind of go over them just lightly on the top and brush everything kind of up and just set it in place. I will go in and contour. So I don't really remember the powder I used for contouring before, but I am going in with the NARS Laguna bronzer, which is just a really nice, like, cool tone brown. As you can see, I need some more. I'm running a little low. So I am going to go in on, for the contouring on my cheeks, I actually use a different brush than I do to contour my forehead. So for my cheekbone, or for contouring my cheeks, I go in with the JS3 brush, the Morphe Jeffree Star brush here. And with not too much product, I go, so still I do it the same way. I go from the top of my ear and come down and just really lightly go in. And what I like about how little this brush is you can really get it precise And then you can kind of just like blend it upwards and diffuse that line a bit better so it's not so harsh. And then once I have that, before I actually go in and bake underneath of that, because I like to clean up the line, I take my powder brush and kind of just lightly brush over this to just really soften it, because I'm not going for like a really harsh look for day to day. And then I'll go in with my Sigma large angled contour brush. So it looks like this one, the angle. And then this is what I use to contour my forehead. So I go right from the center and work it down the sides of my forehead, right to my temples. Okay, and then once we're done that, because as we can see we have like kind of like a defined line right here, I go in again with my powder brush and kind of just soften everything out. So we don't really have that like defined line, so you can't really tell. Okay, so then I'll go in with my powder. So we're done with the contour, it's just quick and simple. Then I go in with my Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder. And I actually use a dry sponge for this. So I take my Morphe sponge and just dip into that powder and just go. What I kind of do is I get rid of like this piece that I've put right here. So I kind of just take that and go right across that. So I don't do too much, like I don't go in too heavy with it. So now we let that sit and just do its thing. Okay, so then I go in and do my blush. I also can't remember if I use the same color or not, but I'm going in with this shade right here, and I'm using the JS2 Fluffy brush. I don't go in with too much of this, I kind of just lightly dust it on. And then what I'll do is I go in again with my powder brush and I wipe away the bake and then blend up and kind of just soften out that blush as well. Because it is a little bit of a more intense color. There, so we have that. And then what I'll do is sometimes like I notice that I get a little bit of like powder and stuff on my eyelashes. I sometimes then go in with just another little quick coat of mascara just to darken everything up again. And then before I do highlight, and we're pretty much almost done, so remember in my video where I did my full face of products that I hate, I was talking about the Lash Blast Active Mascara. So like I said, I don't like it for the top because it makes my lashes flat, but I do use it for the bottom lashes. So we are going to go in with that mascara and do the bottom lashes. So we are almost actually done here. So then my second last step other than lips is our highlight now. So I now actually do kind of like a little combination. I guess it depends. Sometimes I do one, sometimes I do the other, sometimes I do both. I guess it depends on how I'm feeling that day. So I'm going to go in first with the Anastasia Amrezy highlight, which I think I used in the other, oh no I did not. I used a MAC highlighter. So this one I absolutely love. It gives such a glow. It's just a really nice, I know it looks like pretty gold and dark, which I thought at first would be way too dark for me, but it actually looks really nice. So we're gonna go in with that. Oh, and I'm using the JS4 brush. And I kind of like bring this one up and like round it around my temple a little bit, kind of to meet up with my bronzer at the top. Then I'll actually, because I'm feeling like it, I'm gonna go in just over top, like just on the very like highest point, so like right here. I'm gonna go in with my Jeffree Star highlight, and this is the color Siberian Gold. So they're kind of, the shades are actually kind of similar. Let's put them side by side. The Siberian Gold one's a tiny bit darker, but they are pretty much, they're quite close in color. All right, well, I didn't realize that my camera had stopped recording, so that's nice, and we are actually done our makeup. So I think I left off where I was comparing the colors of the Anastasia Amrezy and the Siberian Gold by Jeffree Star. So like I said, they're quite similar in color. The Siberian Gold's just a little bit darker. So I did end up going in with both colors. I went really heavy on the Anastasia at first, and then just on the high points of my cheek, I went in with the Siberian Gold. So once I got that all done, and I was also using the JS4 brush by Morphe and Jeffree Star. So I went in with that, and then once I was done that, I actually sprayed my face with the Urban Decay All Nighter Pollution Protection spray. But like what I had already said before my camera stopped recording is I typically would use the Morphe setting spray, which is the continuous mist, but I have run out of that, so I have gone in with this one, which I like. I do like the Morphe one better, but this is my second runner-up favorite, so I did then spray my face with that. And then what I did is I went in with my, I can pretty much do the step over again, it's not that big of a deal. So I spray my face. Let that dry. I don't let it dry completely, but just a little bit so it's not so wet. And then what I do go in and do is take my Morphe sponge and just, whoops, wrong end, is I press it into the skin and really just set everything in place and just really press it in. And then what that actually does with this highlight is, because you're pressing the moisture into the highlight, it actually gets it have like more of a glow, which is really nice. And I don't think I mentioned, I take the tip of my brush, so I kind of just dip it in like this, and I go down the bridge of my nose as well to highlight, just very lightly. So once we finished that step, then I went in and did my lips, which as you can see, they're already done. So what I do is I take this, it is the Lip Story, it's from Sephora, so it's just in this little tube here, and it is the Pineapple Express color, so it's like a really nice like mauve color. So I go in really lightly with that, and I kind of just like dot it on rather than like swiping it, because it is quite pigmented. So I just kind of dot it on and then rub it out, so it's more like a stain rather than a full lipstick. And then I actually go in with my Sephora lip balm in the Goji. So it's in the red container, and they smell so good. Usually I just sit there for like a couple minutes and just, they smell delicious. So then I go in with that over top, and then that's it. So really at the end of the day, it's not that big of a routine for me for every day going to work. I can probably do this whole thing in the morning, probably within 20-25 minutes, depending on how my brows, it's usually my brows that take me the longest, because they're the most tedious and usually the ones that don't ever end up looking similar. So that usually takes me the longest, but other than that, it's a pretty quick routine for day to day. Like, I'm not going on the runway every day at work, you know, so it's not like I need some complicated routine every day. So yeah, that's it for this routine. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe down below to my channel, and don't forget to turn on the little bell notification so you guys are notified every time I upload a new video. So until next time, always remember to be yourself.